Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, responding to a request from some of you to do more Stokowski boxes. Good old Leopold Stokowski, whatever he wanted to call himself. It changed periodically depending on which accent he adopted or what, origin he was going to lie about. But I'm going to do them. I'm going to do them because Stokowski was just so fabulous and so much fun. And so I'm going to take them one label at a time. We've done already the Phase 4 Decca box. So now we're going to do the Sony box. Now, most of these recordings were made really at the end of his career. He was like between the ages of, 115 and 140 or something like that. I mean, he was very old. But they're amazingly great. He just was great. It didn't matter how old he was. He just somehow did it. So let's talk about what's on here, and we will have a very grand old time. There aren't that many discs in this particular box. 10. It all got boiled down to 10 CDs, and I'm dropping it as I always do and throwing it all over the room. So, are you ready? Are you ready for Stokowski on Sony? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what? I have to do it with the booklet. I can't do it with these because they are original jackets. Original jackets. I'll pick them up later, but not necessarily original couplings. Maybe I should get this one because it's right under my foot. There we go. Okay. I'm such a klutz. All right, here we go. You ready? Where is the track list? There we go. CD1. Are you ready? Falla, El Amor Brujo. Oh, this was a Stokowski specialty. And this is with the Philadelphia Orchestra. And he used his own version of the score where he touched up the orchestration here and there. Not in a bad way. It's wonderful. Like in the first dance. What is it? The Danza del Terror. There's that one part where it goes bum ba dum jum jadum bum biadum dum da dum da 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 ba dum ba 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 ba, and he gets faster and faster and faster, and he adds a downward swoop for the violins when it's like, but it's not what Falla wrote, and we don't care. It's better. It's just better. Oh, it's amazing. And the alto is Shirley Verrett, who sings really well. She was young and still an alto in those days. She wasn't trying to be a soprano. And her voice is lovely. And it's marvelous. It's Philly. And then we get his own synthesis of Tristan and Isolde with Philly. Yeah. You get the love music from Acts 2 and 3. That is the Liebestod, is the love music, of course, from Act 3. And it's 26 minutes, a big, bleeding chunk of Tristan and Isolde played with unbelievable intensity by Philly. And, of course, Stokowski's Philadelphia recordings of Wagner back in the old days of 78s were legendary. And they still are. They're gorgeous. They're to the extent you can hear them, of course. But this is in lovely, lucid stereo. Wow. Stokey and Philly. Listen to what the magic was all about. Yeah. Next, Bach, Brandenburg Concerto No. 5, and 3 chorale preludes with various Philadelphia people. And this is quite kicky. I mean, the Brandenburg people will listen to it and just have a cow, especially the period instrument people. I love it. I just love it. Marvelous. Then we've got Beethoven's 5th Piano Concerto. You remember that? That's the one he did with Glenn Gould. And in the American Symphony. I don't think it's a great Emperor Concerto. I think it's a meeting of two astonishing personalities. Let's just leave it at that. I think the Emperor has been done more, let's just say, idiomatically or effectively since then. It's not that there's anything wrong with it particularly. I mean, it's Glenn Gould being pretty on his best behavior. Maybe that's the problem. It's rather well behaved, the whole performance. You wish it would be a little crazier, quite frankly. It would give us more to talk about, but it's okay. Then, with the American Symphony Orchestra, Charles Ives, Symphony No. 4, the premiere recording, the premiere of the premiere, the premiere of the work, premiere performance. Still the reference, really. It really is. It's amazing how Stokowski was able to dig down into the texture and the chaos that Ives unleashes and find the tunes and create atmosphere and just let it be its thing. I mean, the finale is still the most transcendental performance of the finale you've ever heard. It's extraordinary what Stokowski does. And the slow movement, the balance with the strings and the organ, and he just does things right. He really does. And this was with assistant conductors. And the assistant conductors, oh yeah, here they are, David Katz and none other than Jose Cerebrier was the assistant. And he, of course, went on to make his own recording of Ives Fourth, which sounded quite different, by the way, for RCA. And then you get 4 songs for chorus and orchestra, which were orchestrated by Greg Smith, because it's with the Greg Smith Singers. The Majority, They Are There, Election, and Lincoln, the Great Commoner. I mean, Stokowski just had such an amazing repertoire, range of repertoire, especially with contemporary music. And the fascinating thing about him is that whereas with earlier music, he could be as absolutely crazy as possible, nobody was more dedicated when doing contemporary music than Stokowski. I mean, he was as devoted and consistent and careful and he was marvelous with contemporary music, usually on his absolute best behavior when it came to tinkering. And when he did tinker, it usually made a lot of sense. I mean, he was just, what can I say? The Ives Fourth is a classic. It's an incredible classic. Then we've got Bizet, Carmen Suites, and L'Arlésienne Suites. L'Arlésienne Suites are not entirely complete. There's a movement missing somewhere. Yeah, in number 2, it doesn't matter to me. And the Carmen Suite 2 is also supposedly excerpts, but there are no sort of fixed rules for what goes into these suites. This was always a great record. I remember when it came out. I remember the reviews when it came out. What was it, 1976, when Stokowski was like, 300 or so. And everyone just said, oh my God, how does this guy do it? At this age, it's just so colorful. It's so fresh. It's so full of life. It's so impactful. It's just a miracle. Absolutely miracle. Then we've got transcriptions. I love his transcriptions. The Flight of the Bumblebee, Clair de Lune, Chopin Mazurka, Opus 24-4, Debussy, Le Soirée dans Grenade, Ottokar Novacek's Perpetual Motion, Tchaikovsky's Humoresque, Albéniz, The Fête Dieu à Seville. Ooh, boy, that's something from Iberia. Shostakovich Prelude in E-flat minor, Opus 87, number 14. I mean, where did he get these things? He must have spent his whole life just trolling through music to listen to it and find things that he could play with. It's just great. Rimsky-Korsakov, Ivan the Terrible, Prelude to Act 3, and the Chopin Prelude in G minor with the National Philharmonic. I mean, this stuff is sui generis. It's phenomenal, and that's all you could say about it. Sibelius, Symphony Number 1 and The Swan of Twinella. First-class performance with the National Philharmonic, and you would think it's another one of those pieces that he would like, it's romantic, it's like Tchaikovsky, things he liked to tinker with. Ormandy tinkered in Sibelius 1. Stokowski, this is a very straight performance, one of the most exciting and sensitive and beautifully shaped performances you will ever hear in your life. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, Tchaikovsky, CD 8, Aurora's Wedding. Now, Aurora's Wedding is from Sleeping Beauty. It's adapted from music, bits of Sleeping Beauty. I think it was mostly, Act 2 or Act 3, or the whole thing almost. And so it's just a 42-minute Tchaikovsky ballet derived from a Tchaikovsky ballet that was made for the Ballet Russe by Diaghilev. He adapted it. And, Stokowski was always great in Tchaikovsky if he wasn't being too perverse. And here, again, he's just playing it for all it's worth, and it's lovely. Mendelssohn, the Italian Symphony, and Bizet Symphony in C. One of the great records ever made of anything. Oh my gosh. These are all, by the way, with the National Philharmonic, which was a pickup orchestra, a recording orchestra in London. And they played for him. They played for him. Words fail me. What can I say? The guy was a magician. Everyone said so, and it was true. Beautiful, beautiful performances. Sunny, fresh, delightful, completely without artifice. from a conductor for whom artifice was the thing. And he knew when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Let's just put it that way. And the other thing was, I think that really made him so fascinating is that no matter how old he got, he never slowed down. He absolutely disproved that adage that old conductors, they get creakier and slower, which is supposed to be more profound. And that was BS. And Stokowski was as fresh and lively at 95 as he was at 25. And that is really something amazing. And he is in these performances. And then the last one, Brahms Symphony No. 2 and the Tragic Overture. Absolutely first-rate Brahms. And Stokowski's Brahms could be really weird. Like his Third Symphony, which is the most horrible performance of that ever, the one on Everest with the Houston Symphony. I mean, he could do things to this music that were just shameful. But not here. It's a very, very musical, lyrical, straightforward, perfectly shaped, balanced, sensitive, gorgeous Brahms too. In the classic romantic tradition. And remember, Stokowski was from that era. That was his period. I mean, he knew this music. He knew how to conduct it when he wanted to. And here he did. So you've got in this box 10 absolutely phenomenal recordings, if you could still find the box. That's the kicker, isn't it? That's the problem. It always is, and I wish it weren't so, but there you go. So this is one phenomenal Stokowski box. It really is. Keep on listening. Have fun. Find these. Have a good time. It's one of the things you should really get your hands on. And if it's out of print, then it is ripe for reissue for sure. Take care.